A violent tornado outbreak and destructive storm system is slamming the US right now. This is a dynamic, catastrophic situation developing across the heart of the country, and what is about to hit the surface on Wednesday, July 8, 2026, will leave entire communities in absolute shock. Look at your screens right now. A catastrophic disaster is unfolding across the American landscape, and the latest data coming out of the Storm Prediction Center is sending absolute shockwaves through the meteorological community. We are looking at a scary turn of events as a multi-state atmospheric nightmare begins to lock into place. Nobody is ready for tonight. Nobody is prepared for the raw, terrifying power that this monster system is generating as it collides with a historic, unprecedented heat dome. If you think your city is safe, you need to wake up right now. The radar models are shifting rapidly, lighting up with dangerous indications of violent supercell structures capable of tearing down everything in their path. As we cross into this dangerous Wednesday, July 8, millions of lives are actively drifting into the danger zone. The thermal energy trapped in the lower atmosphere has reached explosive, volatile levels, creating a ticking time bomb that will detonate across major metropolitan areas and rural communities alike. Do not look away from this video. The next few hours could mean the absolute difference between safety and total devastation for you and your family. We are tracking intense, violent, atmospheric rotation that is pushing the boundary layers to their absolute breaking point. This dangerous system could track anywhere, and the models are showing that the localized impact tracks are completely unpredictable. What state or county are you watching from? Drop your exact location in the comments section below right now. I am monitoring the live tracking data and radar feeds continuously, and by leaving your city, county, or state below, I can track this monster system directly for your neighborhood. If you have family members living anywhere across the Central Plains, the Upper Midwest, or the Southwest, tag them or share this video with them immediately. We need to build a massive real-time safety network in the comments below. Let me know what the sky looks like outside your window right now. Is it dead silent? Is the air heavily humid? Those are the classic, eerie signs of a sleeping giant waiting to explode. Your area could be next in line for a violent tornado touchdown, and by the time you hear the sirens wailing through your neighborhood, it will be too late to act. I will break down every single county under a red alert right now, so do not skip a single second of this video. The global weather models are currently in a state of high friction. We are witnessing a monumental atmospheric battleground where record-shattering, historic heat waves are being assaulted by an advancing, high-velocity atmospheric trough. When you throw cold air on top of an unstable, boiling atmosphere, the resulting updrafts do not just create regular rain showers, they create absolute monsters. We are talking about explosive updrafts that shoot up into the stratosphere at over 100 miles per hour, generating intense long-track supercells that can drop a wedge tornado in the blink of an eye. The mainstream media is barely scratching the surface of how volatile Wednesday, July 8th is going to be. They look at a map and see scattered risks, but what they do not tell you is that the micro-level conditions are completely primed for sudden localized tornadic spinning. The shear profiles are tilting dramatically as the low-level jet stream ramps up after that. This is exactly what keeps storm chasers and meteorologists up at night, a nocturnal severe weather threat, where deadly tornadoes are completely wrapped in blinding, driving rain, screaming through the dark while people are fast asleep. Looking at the live Doppler radar, we see a dangerous, terrifying scenario setting up right now. Let's pull up the data and look closely at the boundary lines cutting straight across the country. The Storm Prediction Center has highlighted a massive zone of instability that requires your absolute, immediate attention for July 8, 2026. First, let's look at the Upper Midwest and the Great Plains. We have a southeastward moving cold front slicing directly into a rich, unstable boundary layer choked with intense moisture. If you are anywhere near Chicago, Illinois, or extending down to the central corridors of Indiana and Ohio, the radar is already showing alarming signs of convective initiation. The convective available potential energy, what we call CAP, is absolutely off the charts today. It is surging past 3,000 joules per kilogram in specific pockets, providing an immense reservoir of raw rocket fuel for these developing supercells. As the afternoon heating hits its absolute maximum, these discrete storms are going to punch through the capping inversion layer. When that happens, the radar will show rapid, terrifying vertical development. We are tracking localized pockets of high-velocity atmospheric wind shear that are hitting 40 to 50 knots. That is more than enough to force these massive thunderclouds into a scary rotation. Look at this specific hook echo forming on the simulated radar reflectivity right near the borderlines. This indicates that the storm is actively trying to wrap environmental inflow around its core, creating a rotating updraft or a mesocyclone. If you are inside that cell's path, you are in immediate line for destructive hail and potential tornadic development. Moving further west into the northern and central plains covering parts of South Dakota, Nebraska, and Iowa, the atmospheric dynamics are equally terrifying. We are monitoring a low-amplitude, mid-level impulse pulling straight off the Rocky Mountains and slamming into the northern periphery of an expansive historic ridge. This boundary zone is going to act as a train track for multiple rounds of severe thunderstorms, a phenomenon known as training. When storm after storm passes over the exact same counties, the ground becomes completely oversaturated, paving the way for catastrophic flash flooding alongside the severe wind threat. Now, let's shift our gaze down into the massive, boiling state of Texas and the lower Mississippi Valley, because what is happening down south is an entirely different kind of beast. The extreme, anomalous heat core is settling deeply into the western and central United States, pushing temperatures to historic, dangerous levels. But along the edges of this massive heat dome, a dangerous setup is taking shape for Wednesday, July 8th. In the Concho Valley, West Texas, and stretching up into the Texas Panhandle, a deeply mixed planetary boundary layer is interacting with a strong nocturnal low-level jet. What does this mean for you on the ground? It means that as night falls, the atmosphere is not cooling down safely. Instead, an injection of high-speed, moist air is rushing in from the Gulf of Mexico, fueling a massive, sprawling mesoscale convective system, or an MCS. This is a terrifying wall of severe storms that can span hundreds of miles wide, moving across the plains like a runaway freight train. If you are in Dallas, Fort Worth, or down toward Austin and San Antonio, you must remain on high alert for destructive, straight-line winds that can easily mimic the damage of an EF1 or EF2 tornado. These straight-line winds are projected to exceed 70 to 80 miles per hour in the core of the downbursts. They will snap power poles, throw massive tree branches through windows, and rip roof structures entirely off their foundations. Alongside these screaming winds, the thermal updrafts are so violent that they are carrying water droplets miles high into freezing atmospheric layers, growing massive, destructive hail blocks. We are talking about tennis ball to baseball-sized hail descending from the sky at terminal velocity. If you leave your vehicle uncovered tonight, it will be completely destroyed. If you are caught outside when these downbursts hit, it is a life-threatening situation. Let's also expand on the southwest monsoon region, focusing on Arizona, New Mexico, and Utah. The Storm Prediction Center is noting that as the monsoonal moisture return intensifies around the Four Corners and climbs into the rugged terrain of Colorado, we are seeing the evolution of highly volatile storm clusters. Because the air near the surface is incredibly dry in these desert environments while the mid-levels are highly saturated, any storm that develops will create an absolute nightmare scenario for dry microbursts. Rain evaporates before hitting the ground, cooling the air rapidly and causing it to plunge downward with catastrophic force, slamming into the desert floor and blasting outward in all directions. These microbursts can cause instant visibility drops to absolute zero, triggering massive dust storms or haboobs, while knocking out local power grids for days on end. My friends, this is not a drill, and this is not something you can afford to take lightly. The atmospheric models for Wednesday, July 8, 2026 are shouting a loud and clear warning to anyone willing to listen. If severe weather alerts or tornado warnings are issued for your specific county, you need to execute your emergency severe weather plan immediately. Do not wait until the power grid goes dark and you are left standing in total pitch black darkness. Make sure your weather radios are fully functional, have backup batteries charged for your cell phones, and identify the safest, lowest interior room of your house right now, far away from any exterior walls or glass windows. If you live in a mobile or manufactured home, Know exactly where your nearest sturdy community shelter is and give yourself plenty of time to get there before the dark clouds roll in. I will be staying right here, tracking every single update, reading every single convective outlook, and scanning the live Doppler radar sweeps around the clock to give you the fastest, most accurate emergency updates on YouTube. Everyone to keep your family safe and stay 10 steps ahead of these extreme, unpredictable storms. Smash that subscribe button right now, turn on all your notifications, and hit the like button so this vital safety warning can reach millions of others before it is too late. Stay safe, take cover, and keep your eyes on the skies.